new place and time in the history of the Africans and the Americans. The African people who came to America came essentially from the coasts of West Africa, from the great kingdoms of the Akan, the Fantis, the Ashantis, the Benins, the Yoruba, the Nuques, the Mali, the Songhai. So we are descendants, therefore, of those great nations and those great chiefs and kings of that great era in our history.
That you become proud then. So you're talking about LA, Dallas, Chicago, New York, Miami, all of the big cities in North America, and even the small ones, are all being influenced in some way, shape, form, or fashion by some facet of African culture. So it's happening before my eyes, and so I'm very happy to see that.
We have to investigate that. It has to be a diligent investigation by anyone considering themselves black, brown, one-drop theory, African, Latino. You have to investigate the culture that you have not been told about, because it is tantamount to having many riches in a room and not entering that room.
Benjamin, you'll never be able to bring African religion back here because there's too many gods in it. It's too complicated. It's too difficult. Our people will never understand it. Here we are, and we have established priesthoods for a vast number of gods which he never dreamed that it was possible to introduce. We accomplished what we set out to do. That was to build a Yoruba settlement. Since that time, we have concentrated on the construction and the development of temples and shrines for the gods of Africa. Remember, if we have a culture, we have guidelines. And certainly, in the traditional Yoruba culture, it was up to the kings to order that new temples and shrines be established. Priesthoods decided that they wished to enhance the prestige of their particular god or goddess, and thereby financed out of their own resources temples and shrines for their gods and goddesses. Somehow, we Africans have lost our way.
People without a clear vision of what the future can be is doomed to repeat it. And my dear people, we as human beings are continuing to repeat the dysfunction. It is sad to see that in this day and age, after all of the marches, the civil rights marches, and all of the laws put in place and all of the technology that's available, the young people are dying at a faster rate. A direction. You have to really investigate a direction. You have to read history to know where we're going today.
So we Yoruba here, we Yoruba Americans, have obviously then to follow only in the footsteps of our ancestors. To use our resources, our money, our energies, our hands in order to develop. And all of the institutions which exist in the Western world today, which had their origin in our culture and society, we can then better understand how they developed.
True African brotherly love. We've been kept from it, and so we have to find it. There was a book called They Took It, and we have to replace it. And so it's more than just a notion. It is investigation and implementation.
We have to be the examples that our ancestors provided. We have to bring back the tenets and the beauty of the culture that existed before the invaders arrived.
Who, like the men who came here to build Oyotunji, were building temples, building shrines. And so that then is why we venerate, as it were, a system of workers who are here called the Dokwe. The Dokwe built everything that you see here. I am compelled by spiritual force I can't resist to swear my eternal allegiance to the king and to the flag of the Yorubas, etc., etc., etc. The point is that we are compelled by a spiritual force which we cannot resist. That force, as we all know, of course, is our ancestors. The force of our God. So anything that we decide we want to do, if we want to transform Afro-American society, depend upon it, we can do it, we will do it, we have done it. Already, when in any city that you go, somebody is going to know about Orisha. But nevertheless, this represents the fact that we are indeed changing and altering permanently, not just for the lifetime of the leader, as in so many other societies and organizations, and not just for a few years, as long as the name of the organization can be remembered, but permanent, indelible, obvious changes. And that is what makes a great difference. Many people have made some changes, but too subtle to really last, too subtle to really pass on. Here the emphasis is on dramatic, bold, formulated change, major change in Afro-American society, and we Yorubas are accomplishing it. Unlike anyone who has done, we're changing names, changing clothes, changing architecture, changing marriage forms, changing diet, changing shoes, changing dress, cosmetics, everything. Being permanently, fundamentally changed.
Tell you what, my father left us a 13-acre village in South Carolina, and with option to expand and buy more land. And we have people all around us with land. Let me tell you what we can do. We can grow food on all of these excess lots of property where all the local people consider farming and slavery still. We can go and show them different. We can get out there and plant crops. Call our people in who got tractor trailers, hire them to take the crops to market. A whole truckload of sweet potatoes can go to market from the land around here. This is what we can do to stick it to the man.
If we have an African community, the African community should have African stores owned by African gardens. Our food should come directly from our community, from the rooftop.
This is injustice. It's been going on, and this is what I want to say today. With this shirt, no more violence. I mean no more violence. I don't want to see any more black men dying. I don't want to see any policeman stopping you all when you go to DeSoto because you're a black man. I'm tired of all of that. I am sick of that. I was sick of that before my baby died. That's why I'm standing here. Because black men and black women, we need to stand up and tell them no more of this. Because we're citizens of the United States of America. I'm tired of it. And long live T-Mom.
Because if we are to solve the problems which our people face, and all of us certainly know what they are, we argue them every day, and we come up with all kinds of suggestions and ideas. But the fact of the matter is that we will have to resettle and build our own towns. That both Islam and Christianity were imports, they could not rebuild African culture. The only religion that can build African culture is African religion. Huh? Yes. And I think we've seen that. Christianity can't build African religion. It doesn't build African architecture. It does not spawn African art. Islam doesn't spawn any art except design. And we can't deny that it is beautiful.